You know, someone says all the world's a stage and each must play a part. I'm not sure who, but I know that Elvis said that once on stage, so it must be true. Today's episode's all about personal energy and why it's vital, if you're going to be someone that helps others through change, that you restore your own personal energy on a constant basis. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Simon Phillips, and this series is all about how we can be better change makers. And by that I mean people who are interested in investing in their own skills and their own competence and their own resilience, because they know that change is difficult sometimes. So they look after themselves, but the main reason they do that as leaders of change is so that they can look after the people around them as well. So today's topic, all about personal energy and the mistakes that we make, is hopefully going to be one that you will take on board and will transform the way you think about your day-to-day activities. You've got to look after yourself in this process if you're going to be a really good change maker. So what got me started on this topic was I've had 3 conversations this week with people with incredibly low energy, and these are challenging times. You know, the pandemic's continuing, the lockdown is continuing in our country, and the people I've been interacting with have had some real challenges in terms of family illness and job insecurity. So unsurprising then that they had quite low energy at the start of our conversation. You're going to encounter that often. If you're going to lead change, if you're going to help others to get through times like this, your energy is important to maintain, because without you having a positive energy, you're not able to transfer any of that energy to anyone else. So those conversations started here, but hopefully by the time we'd finished talking, their energy levels were raised a bit and they'd been able to absorb some of my energy, which I work on constantly to try to keep as positive as possible. Not because I think everything's wonderful and the world is such an amazing place all the time, but because I know that if I can keep my energy as high and as positive as possible, it helps other people. It also helps me, because in times when I do encounter things that are maybe sad or maybe a sapping on my emotions and my energy, I'm able to flip out of that and look after myself so that I can keep going and keep in a positive frame of mind and look after myself emotionally so that I can do the things that I want to do in life. Because I've found in the past, before I discovered all of this type of thinking, that if I was depressed, if I was sad, if I was upset, it would actually halt my progress for quite some time. So through learning these techniques and understanding a lot about positivity and mental energy levels, if you like, I've been able to overcome that and accelerate the pace through which I get through some of those challenging times. So let me share with you 4 mistakes that people make when thinking about their own levels of personal energy. And the very first mistake people make, and I'm sure we've all done this, people take on too much. They try to do it all. We can't, any one of us, do it all. If we really want to make progress, we've got to work with others. We've got to find those people in our lives who are going to enable us to move quicker, enable us to get things done. And of course, the bigger mission we're on, the more people we're going to need. So doing it all is not a great strategy when it comes to looking after our personal energy. You know, I loved a quote I saw a little while back. It said, "We're all going to die with things on our to-do list." So think about that sometimes. When you're looking at your to-do list, maybe at the end of a long day, instead of thinking, okay, how long is it going to take me to get through these last 5 items on my list? Instead of thinking of it that way, think, is it going to matter if these don't get done right now? And if the answer is it probably won't make much difference at all, just move them over, move them on to the next day, or even consider taking them from that list and putting them on a not to do list. A not to do list can be a lifesaver. So get yourself one. It's just a running piece of paper of things you're just not going to do right now because you've got other priorities. So don't attempt to do it all. Look after your personal energy. That's number one. Number two is people not getting a great balance. Now, I'm not just talking about work-life balance. Work-life balance, I think, is subjective. I think some people can keep going and keep going and keep going with what other people perceive to be work, but for them it's just their mission. It's the thing that vitalizes them. It's the thing that really energizes and gets them moving, so it's not even work from their perspective. And for other people, actually, I've done my X number of hours, I just want to get back now and start to live in this part of my life, which is where I get my energy. And so that's what work-life balance is really all about. It's a subjective thing and it's different for every person. However, this element of balance that I want to talk about is the sort of different aspects of our lives. So there are four aspects of our lives. There's our physical lives, there's our emotional lives, there's our mental lives, and our spiritual lives. And the important thing to remember here in terms of personal energy is if any one of those is ignored, it can start to deplete our levels of personal energy. So for example, maybe, well actually it's not just ignoring, it can be putting too much into any one of those areas. So for example, if I do too much, spend too much time and too much focus on physical activity, I'm likely to lower my levels of personal energy because I've used them all up with all of that physical activity. However, if I do just enough, I'm actually likely to slightly boost my personal energy because I've increased my strength, I've increased my cardiovascular system has improved. Everything is going to get slightly enhanced and I will have more energy to keep going. However, if I do too little, now all of a sudden my personal energy can shoot through the floor, or it can keep going for a while and then all of a sudden collapse. So think about all four areas of your life: your physical, your emotional, your mental, and your spiritual. Are you putting too much time and effort into any of them? Are you not putting anywhere near enough? Or is it about right? Because what's interesting is about right is better than right when it comes to your own personal energy. If you've got a good level of spiritual capacity, if you've got good mental toughness, if you've got good physical fitness, and if you've got good emotional stability in your mind, then actually that propels you, it enhances your personal levels of energy and ensures that you can go on for quite a lot longer, which is why investing in all four of these areas is a good thing to do. Disinvesting or overdoing any of them is actually has a negative effect. And the third area of mistakes, if you like, the third type of mistake that we make when it comes to looking after ourselves and our personal energy is that we are unrealistic. So what do I mean by that? Well, actually, we tend to overestimate how much we can actually achieve, and we underestimate the value of the work that we're able to do in a good amount of time. So let's just pick that apart. This overestimation is the reason why people have so much on their to-do lists. It's why they're juggling so many plates. It's why they are effectively running at full pelt and tearing their hair out, and actually their energy levels are really low if they're not maintaining all four areas that we talked about in the second point. In terms of having unrealistic expectations, we are over optimistic in just how much we can get done under our own steam on our own. Certainly we can have those ambitions, we can have those things that we're looking to achieve, but we overestimate just how much time and energy and just sheer mental capacity we have for doing all of them. And so that's where teamwork starts to play. But let's come to this other one, because I think this is the one that has more to do with our confidence than anything else. And that's, we have unrealistic, underestimated assessments of the quality and the value of the things that we can do in a reasonable amount of time. If we're building our skills all the time, if we are engaging with people, learning, and just generally stretching ourselves, our capability is going to go up over time. So if you've been out in the field, you've been in the mix of everything, trying to get better, you will be very surprised at just how good some of the things that you do are. And some of the things that you can do really quickly now that used to take for ages, just because you can do them quickly now doesn't mean to say you've now made room for piling up your list to do a whole load of other things. Focus on this, because this is really good value. This is the thing that's helping people. And so if you can do more of this and duplicate your efforts here, get others involved to make this really buzz and hum, then that is the thing that's going to be of real value. Adding more in things that you're you have less capability, less capacity, less energy to actually do right now, is devaluing the effort and the emotional investment you've made in doing this as well as you do it. The world needs to know about these things. These are the things that you need to be sharing more, you need to be helping others with more if you're going to be great at leading change. And the final and fourth mistake we make is that we serve ourselves last. And I've deliberately phrased it that way because we tend to serve others. If we have the mindset of wanting to do good, wanting to help others, wanting to support our teams, wanting to support the people in our organizations, wanting to just support our families and the people around us, if that's our sole focus and nothing else gets in, then actually we've forgotten the person that makes it all possible, which is ourselves. So just like on an aeroplane, the instruction is to put your own oxygen mask on first, only then are they suggesting you turn to the people around you and help them with their oxygen masks, because you've got that steady flow of oxygen. If you leave yourself till last, you might be halfway through helping the person next to you, only to find that your oxygen is completely depleted and you're unable to do anything at all. It's exactly the same when it comes to making change happen, helping other people. You've got to look after yourself first. Think about those 4 areas of life that we discussed: our spiritual energy, our mental energy, our emotional energy, and our physical energy. Make sure that you're always restoring and rejuvenating those areas of your life so that you've got plenty of energy. What I've found is the people that I've supported and coached in the past, when they've worked on those 4 areas and got the balance right for themselves, their energy levels far surpass most of the people around them, and most of the people around them start observing things like, oh, I'm really concerned about that person because, they seem to be doing so much. There's no real need to be concerned, because those people have got the energy balance right, and they've got the balance right in terms of how they want to focus their lives. And just because it looks like from the outside as if they're doing lots of things, doesn't mean that they are necessarily going to fall over any moment. If they've got the balance right, they can keep going a lot longer than people who are otherwise depleting and eroding their personal energy. Okay, I said I'd share some secrets on how to actually get those energy levels right and avoid these mistakes. And the first thing is something you can do just before you go to sleep. And the second thing is something you can do just as you wake up. So just before you go to sleep, I want you to do a mental audit. Now, invariably, people overcomplicate what an audit is. Just simply asking yourself, what went well today? Where did I succeed? Where was my energy level high? Where was I really buzzing? What could have gone better? What didn't really work for me today? When did I completely almost feel like falling over because I was so tired and I actually needed to rejuvenate to get back on track? Or where was I not capable of really putting enough mental energy in to really make that task come alive? Quick review like that. Over time, you will start to get a feel for just where your personal energy waxes and wanes, as they say. And in the morning, as you're planning your next steps, as you're thinking about getting your day in motion, I want you to review your plan and ask yourself, have you got the balance right? Have you got time for filling up your cup in terms of your spiritual well-being? Have you got activities in the day where your mental well-being is looked after? How about emotionally? What are you doing that's really working for you? And physically, have you got time in the diary to get just the right amount of physical activity in to keep you going? And then there's one final question I want you to ask yourself once you've had a quick look at what's ahead of you in the day is, what's the right thing to do today? And it might be something completely off the radar. It might be something that you haven't even thought of until you asked yourself that question. That question is going to prompt you on so many levels. It's not just, what have I got to do today? It's not just what's on my to-do list. It's not just what did people ask me to do. It's actually more about what's the right thing to do in terms of fulfilling my dream, or helping the people around me more effectively, or making a bigger impact. Whatever it is for you, ask yourself that question, because if every day we can be doing what we feel is the right thing to be doing, our energy levels are going to be maintained anyway. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Personally, I believe the world needs more change makers. It needs more people that are interested in these sorts of topics for themselves because they want to help other people and make the world a better place. So if that's you, like this video and subscribe, tell your friends about it, and come back and see me next week when we'll talk about another aspect of being a great change maker. Have a great week.